The station was supposed to be a myth, a ghost facility deep in the rings of Carrion VI, buried in the icy shadows of a dying gas giant. The legends called it the Serpent's Lair, but the archives had no mention of any such outpost. No launch logs, no return records, just whispered rumors among smugglers and ex-military black ops, a place where science defied nature, and where something slithered through the dark. Commander Lena Voss never believed in myths, until the distress signal came. It was faint, distorted by solar interference and gravitational anomalies, but unmistakably real. A human voice crying out from a coordinate long erased from official maps. The message simply repeated over and over. They woke it up. We're trapped. The Serpent is watching. Lena had survived the Xenon front, battled AI insurrections on Vestry Prime, and outflown black holes in a ship held together by magnets and duct tape. But this was different. She wasn't alone. Her crew of 5 were some of the best still breathing. Ryland Dade, a cybernetically enhanced recon specialist with a mind like a machine and a heart he swore didn't exist. Dr. Imari Cade, xenobiologist and former lover, whose research on ancient DNA sequences had once been considered dangerous enough to exile her from Earth. Trev, a gruff weapons engineer and Lena's closest friend. And Kira, their AI pilot with a ghost-like personality shaped by lost memories of a real woman who once volunteered her consciousness for science. They arrived at the abandoned station orbiting in silence. No response to hails. No signs of life. No escape pods launched. As the docking clamps engaged, a strange heat signature pulsed from inside like a heartbeat through steel. The team entered the Serpent's lair. Inside was a world frozen in time. Laboratories full of shattered glass and half-written notes. Dissections of alien creatures whose DNA twisted into symbols instead of strands. One room held a chamber labeled Project Ophion, and beneath the cracked stasis pod, a massive shed skin, still warm. Imari whispered, "It's still here," Trev scoffed. "Whatever it was probably starved." Then the lights flickered, the metal groaned, something hissed through the vents. Over the next few hours, the team unraveled what happened. This wasn't a science station. It was a prison. Decades ago, a deep space mining vessel unearthed a dormant organism beneath an ice moon, something ancient, serpentine, and impossible. It was neither fully biological nor entirely energy-based. It could change form, mimic voices, even infect neural pathways with illusions. The government locked it in stasis here, hidden from the universe, until someone broke protocol. Dr. Ilan Mora, the last known researcher, had attempted to communicate with it. They thought it was a god. They were wrong. The Serpent fed on thought, shaped itself from emotion, and manipulated time within the station. It was awake now, and it wanted out. The first attack was subtle. Kira's voice began repeating sentences she hadn't spoken. Doors opened and closed at random. Then Ryland vanished. They found his body in the gravity chamber, eyes melted, neural implants burnt out. The Serpent had entered his mind. Lena ordered a retreat, but the shuttle was missing, sliced cleanly from the airlock, no alarm triggered. They were trapped. Then it began to speak, in her voice. "Lena, you abandoned me," it hissed through the comms. It showed them memories, twisted ones. Imari saw Lena walking away from her on Mars, heartbroken. Trev saw his younger brother, who had died in a reactor accident, calling for help. The Serpent wasn't just a monster. It was trauma made flesh, using their worst moments to divide them. Imari cracked first. She fled into the lower labs, trying to save the records of her mother's research, documents that linked the Serpent's DNA to pre-human mythologies. Lena chased her, begging her to let go of the past. When they finally found each other in the overgrown hydroponics lab, Imari was crying. "I thought if I could finish her work, I could forgive her." Lena held her, and in that moment the Serpent struck, possessing Imari through a neural splice left over from her exile surgeries. Her eyes went dark, she lunged. Lena couldn't shoot, she wouldn't. Trev arrived just in time, firing a sonic burst that knocked them both back. The serpent fled from Imari's body, screeching in anger. Lena collapsed beside her, sobbing. "I'm sorry, I never should have let you go." Imari coughed, barely conscious. "Don't let it escape." They had one option left. The station's reactor core, ancient and unstable, could be overloaded. But it required manual detonation from the sublevel, and someone had to stay behind to hold the serpent in place long enough to trap it in the blast radius. Trev volunteered. "You owe me a drink in the next life," he said with a grin. Lena didn't argue. As she and Imari rushed to the escape capsule hidden deep in the auxiliary bay, the serpent flooded the corridors, now fully revealed. A colossal creature of glassy scales, shimmering like broken stars, eyes like galaxies collapsing. Trev activated the override. "Hey, Snake," he said, "time to meet your maker." The explosion ripped the station apart. A fireball of memory, rage, and redemption lit the edge of the rings like a second sun. Lena and Imari drifted through the debris in the escape pod, watching the serpent's essence scatter like ash into space. They didn't speak for a long time. Then, quietly, Imari took Lena's hand. "What now?" she asked. Lena smiled, wounded but alive. "We go home." Years later, survivors spoke of what happened. Some still feared the serpent might return, that its essence lived in the memories of those who saw it. But Lena and Imari knew better. The serpent had been born of grief and secrecy, and it had died in the fire of truth and love. Because sometimes the only way to escape the darkness is to face it head on.